Imagine you're driving home from work. A red car suddenly cuts in front of you. Your heart jumps. Your foot stomps the brake before you even think. A second later, you start wondering, why did I react so fast? That moment when your brain acts before your mind catches up is exactly what Daniel Kahneman explores in Thinking Fast and Slow. Hey there, I'm really glad you're here. Today we're going to explore one of the most fascinating journeys into the human mind. A journey that reveals how every decision, every belief, and every judgment we make is shaped by two invisible forces inside us, the fast thinker and the slow thinker. So sit back and let's dive deep into how your mind truly works. System 1 and System 2, the two minds within you. According to Kahneman, your mind isn't a single voice. It's a dialogue between two systems. System 1 is quick, emotional, and intuitive. It helps you recognize faces, finish sentences, and react instantly to danger. System 2 is slow, deliberate, and logical. It's the part of you that solves math problems, plans for the future, and questions your first impressions. Most of the time, System 1 runs the show. It's automatic and effortless. But here's the catch. The fast system isn't always right. It's full of shortcuts, biases, and illusions. It tries to make the world simpler than it really is. And that's where things start to get interesting. The illusion of thinking. Kahneman shows us how often we think we're being rational, when in reality, we're just making up stories that feel true. For example, imagine you meet someone who's confident, friendly, and well-spoken. Instantly, you might assume they're intelligent and capable. That's System 1 jumping to conclusions, a bias called the halo effect. Or think about this. You buy a lottery ticket and someone tells you the odds of winning are 1 in a million. You nod, but deep down you feel like you might be the lucky one. That's not logic. That's emotion disguised as reason. The anchoring trap. Kahneman ran a simple but brilliant experiment. He spun a wheel with random numbers, then asked people to guess what percentage of African countries are in the United Nations. Those who saw the wheel land on a high number gave much higher guesses, even though the wheel was completely random. Why? Because our brains anchor on the first number we see. The mind loves shortcuts. It clings to whatever is easiest to grab. You do this every day without realizing it. When guessing prices, estimating time, or even judging people, the first impression anchors everything that comes after. Losses hurt more than gains feel good. Another key idea in the book is loss aversion. Kahneman discovered that losing $100 feels about twice as painful as gaining $100 feels good. That's why investors panic when the market drops, or why people cling to bad decisions, because the fear of loss overrides the hope of gain. It's the same reason gamblers keep playing after losing, trying desperately to erase the pain of failure. System 1 screams, "Don't lose," while System 2 struggles to whisper, "Think logically." The overconfidence illusion. Humans are terrible at knowing how little they actually know. We trust our judgments far more than we should. Kahneman calls this the illusion of understanding. For example, if you ask people to predict next year's stock prices, they'll give confident answers even though no one really knows. We build these stories around random events because uncertainty makes us uncomfortable. That's why hindsight is so dangerous. Once something happens, we convince ourselves we knew it all along. Our brains rewrite reality to protect our ego. The lazy controller. System 2, the slow thinker, is powerful but lazy. It only wakes up when it absolutely has to. You might think you're in control, but most of the time, you're running on autopilot, making snap judgments, following habits, and trusting intuition. Kahneman says true intelligence isn't about being fast. It's about knowing when to slow down, when to question your gut feeling instead of following it blindly. The smartest people aren't those who think fast, but those who know when to think slow. Real-life example. The money paradox. Imagine two people win the same amount of money. One had nothing before. The other had just lost twice that much the day before. The first person feels joy. The second feels pain. The amount of money is identical, but our perception changes everything. Kahneman's research proves we don't judge things by their absolute value. We judge them by comparison, by context, by feeling. That's why success never feels like we expect, because the mind always compares the present to the past. The planning fallacy. Ever started a project thinking it would take 2 weeks and it ended up taking 2 months? That's the planning fallacy. Even experts make this mistake. We underestimate time, cost, and effort because our fast system focuses on best-case scenarios and ignores reality. Kahneman says, when planning, think like an outsider. Don't trust your gut. Look at the data, the averages, the history. That's how you let System 2 take the wheel. The real message. Thinking fast and slow isn't about choosing between intuition and logic. It's about understanding when to trust each one. Your fast system keeps you alive. It reacts, protects, and feels. Your slow system makes you wise. It analyzes, questions, and decides. Life requires both. But Kahneman's message is clear. Awareness is power. Once you see the traps of your own mind, you start to make choices instead of running on instinct. You stop being a prisoner of your thoughts and start becoming the observer of them. Thank you for staying with me till the end. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. Take care of your mind and I'll see you next Friday.